It's about the blood in the water. It's about the sweat and tears that lead up
The passion.
into creating something. Welcome to episode 6 of the Film Informer podcast. This is Thursday Night Live. Yes, welcome, Jordan.
Our first live episode. Hello. We're not really live. But I wish I could have followed that energy. I didn't know you were going to leave with that energy.
Yeah, I was trying to bring the energy from the movie.
Oh no, I
From the
feel
movie for
I
sure,
feel
you know?
that. I feel that. I wish I would have reciprocated. But
That's all right.
happy to be here, you know.
It takes two, we got to have that. I go up and you come down, we can't be up all the time.
No, we always got to,
Then,
we level each other out.
Yeah, because we got different audience members. They're feeling different ways, and
They are.
they got to relate to one of us, right?
Right.
So,
And we always say, we're the two sides of the same coin.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And we need each other.
Jordan, we were not live last
No.
week, or really ever, but last week we did miss, so we got a little catch up to do. I know, unfortunately, won't be a lot of catch up because neither of us really watch shit.
No.
Which is so sad.
It is sad,
Sad,
but we're not doing other. We've been busy. We've both been busy.
Yeah, we've been making that moolah, grinding.
That's self-employment, man. You got to get it where you can,
self-employed lifestyle for sure.
get it where you can.
Now I still have. I haven't watched movies, but I have watched a lot of TV. So I think I finished Rome. Yeah, I finished Rome. I don't know if that was before last episode or not, but I really can't say enough that those who have not watched Rome should go and watch it. It's great. It's solid 8 out of 10 show. It's the one thing I wish it was longer. 2 seasons. It got cut to go into Game of Thrones, but I have to say, man, Kevin McKidd and Ray Stevenson, Lucius Varenus, the Roman names are kind of hard to say sometimes, and Titus Pillow, his is easy. Those guys, the core just strength of the show, at the heart, those two guys in their relationship, two big just soldier bros who are
From opposite ends of the.
So they're basically in the show. It's them becoming civilians and leaving the soldier life behind. So they're trying to rejoin society, but they're really struggling with it because they're both soldiers at heart.
Of course.
And there's a lot of drama going on there, and it's honestly so well done. It's great.
And Ray Stevenson plays one of them. I didn't know he was in it.
Titus Pillow. Yeah.
Okay.
He's fantastic.
Forgive me. Are you saying pillow or pillow?
Pillow. P-U-L-L-O. Yeah.
Okay. In
Pillow.
my head canon, I'm going to call him pillow, but I will speak pillow. I will speak pillow. But so I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Before to stay on Rome.
Yeah.
Does it have a satisfactory? And is the ending satisfying?
So from what I understand, they knew about halfway through season 2 that it was going to be finished, right? So it wasn't pulled the plug on it last second. So I think they wrote it to a place where it ended again. Yeah, like you said, at a satisfactory level. Good. I do not feel like anything went unresolved. And then again, it is based on it's as closely based on reality as it can while still being entertaining,
Right.
So there's more content for me to go and explore if I really want to. I mean, it definitely made me feel like a Rome historian geek. I'm really interested in Rome. It was an interesting time. It was a very lawless time, It was a world without many rules. And you got to
I can imagine
be a manly man without many repercussions.
A man's man.
Someone steps to you, bro, you can slit that man's throat, and in court it's well, you see, man, he scuffed his shoes, so
you looked at him very wrongly.
Right. Yeah,
it's okay,
that's deserving. It's okay. It was not without reason, warranted murder. That was a thing.
I'm glad that is not a thing anymore for obvious reasons. But now people,
yeah, sometimes
some people need it.
It's debatable.
It's debatable.
Yeah.
The prequels are really good. Off with his head.
You thought the end of Game of Thrones ruined the whole show.
Well, you see, Your Honor. He ranked Game of Thrones 50th on his top 100 list of TV shows of all time.
Jail.
Jail time.
Jail. Immediately. Jail.
Immediately jail. No, in all seriousness, sometimes I wish we have a night of the purge. There's a small person part of me that wants that.
I think if everyone doesn't deep down feel that way, something's wrong with them. because I think that's just such a human
It's like you're too cozy.
feeling.
It's like I don't trust people who's too cozy in life, man. I've learned that.
You have no rage in your heart.
You have no rage or sorrow.
Fuck
You're
outta
not
here.
fucking you're not damaged. Fuck, there's the fucking door.
I see this going down a dark path, Curtis.
It really is. It really, we need
to
to
venture
bring this
into
back up.
just as a brutal time as Rome. I started watching Shogun, which is also itching that historian buff that is somewhere deep down inside me.
I was thinking that the entire time.
And Shogun is also as brutal and as wonderfully made as Rome. I'd say they're both in my heart right now. Like, I'm gonna hold them both to the same standards. Like, I think they're both of excellent quality for their time. And I'm only 3 episodes into Shogun, so I can't speak too much to it. But what I've seen, in a Netflix quality era, to get Shogun off of a streaming service just felt so. That wasn't HBO, like this is like HBO level quality.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's writing and it's production. I think we get a lot of big production, and like for instance, Amazon and even Netflix's biggest shows, but the writing is fucking god awful sometimes.
A lot of the times it's god awful.
Or it's not accurate to the books. I mean, in this case, right, it's even being loved for its historical accuracy.
Oh yeah,
and, right, what it does
in
with its accuracy,
and the historical accuracy in all of the beautiful best ways and worst ways. I mean, it made me like second guess going to Japan, even though it's not in the same time. But it gets
to the Japans,
as John Blackthorne would say. I hate your customs. I hate your accents.
God damn the Japans.
Oh, great Cosmo Jones. Very over the top performance, but in the best way.
Is that his name? Cosmo Jones?
Cosmo Jones, yeah.
Oh, okay. What else has he done? I don't feel like
The only thing I've seen him in is that.
He's fantastic.
He is truly fantastic.
I was thinking about that this morning watching it, like, man, to have won this role, being a lesser known actor was such a cool thing for him, because he's like the white dude in the madness, what I'm
absolutely.
saying? He's like the
us.
one white guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's like the audience in this insanely brutal world that gets more brutal and more intense as the show goes on. But it's it's all for the better for it. And by the end, dude, I was like shaking, the ending, and I just.
It's a beautiful slow burn, and
it really is.
Score,
I can't wait for you to watch more.
The score is amazing. It's probably my favorite part of the show, I think, is the score. I think the music is phenomenal. It captures me, and it's a relatively slow show at first, but it doesn't feel that way because of the music. Like, and I brought this up last time we talked about it. It has the music reminds me of Dune. Of the Dune movies, because of just how present it is and how much it feels like a means of transportation for you throughout the story. Like, I feel like you're almost riding the music through some of the slower scenes, and it makes it feel intense.
Oh yeah, it never stops.
The story is intense, but relatively speaking, the first few episodes is mostly a lot of guys talking politics and a lot of names be throwing around. Which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit confused on some of the politics going into the first few episodes, but I don't want to do spoilers for Shogun, so we could talk about that off camera. But
yeah, that's fine.
Just to say that there's a lot going on, and I love that about it. I already feel like I could watch this again and pick up on things I missed, and it's not playing itself to, and this kind of sounds mean, but the dumb modern audience. If we're being honest, it does not cater itself towards casual viewers.
Oh, you mean like the TikTok audience? And I like TikTok.
Yeah, like the TikTok audience. I feel like Netflix caters towards people who are casually watching a lot of shows. I feel like this does not do that. Like, it's made, with real raw intention, and it does not slow itself down for you. And I just love that about it.
It doesn't hold your hand.
I
love that about it too. It just drops you in the middle of this dark, brutal world. And I'm glad you said no spoilers, because I was about to.
Yeah, no, let's chill on spoilers for now.
Okay. Well, then I won't say all I'll say. Then I'll be vague. And not what we already talked about off camera, but the big thing that happens in the first 2 episodes revolving, I'll just say, someone having an outburst during a political meeting. Mm-hmm. The conclusion of that made me just sick to my stomach for the rest of the, even though you don't see the conclusion of it, just hearing the description of it was brutal. And it just goes to the brilliance of Shogun. Watch Shogun. If you have not.
It deserves
such a great show.
I think it's already deserving of everything it's got.
It's my favorite thing I watched this year. It really is my favorite season of television this year. And guys, before we get into the movie that we're here to talk about, Saturday Night, we want to introduce you to some of our friends. You got Rick Grimes here. You got Mr. David Harbour. Name's escaping me. Hopper from Stranger Things. Really love your Samwise Gamgee.
Thank you.
One of the most underrated characters in Lord of the Rings.
Just got it in, signed by the wonderful Sean Astin, who does a lot of cons. He goes to if you guys love Sean Astin, he goes to a lot of Comic Cons,
which doesn't surprise me.
He's signing. I've had several. I had like a Rudy signed by him recently. I've gotten a bunch. From him. So cool.
Do you have a Mikey from Goonies?
I've had a Mikey signed by him before.
Okay, because that's the one that I would love. Like, I love Sam. He's one of the best, but like
Mikey, it's a really popular one for sure.
Mikey was a special place in my heart. But speaking of Samwise Gamgee, I know we haven't talked about this off camera at all, and I don't think you've seen the show either. Rings of Power Season 2 just ended. Want to briefly bring that
ended?
up. Oh, it ended, but I hear it is fantastic.
What?
Like, the first 3 episodes came out and the reviews were good, but they were like, still not perfect, but good. And then every single week, I'm not kidding, like, the reviews were better and better and better. And then by the end of it, everybody that I was watching was gushing, and they were like, no, season 2 is what everybody wanted season 1 to be.
Shit. Okay.
And that's like the consensus. So like, that has gotten me really excited to push through season 1.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm really curious now. I am. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings so much.
Of course.
It's ridiculous.
Of course.
So the fact that I'm not one of those people gushing immediately about the show makes me just sad.
It is.
But, I mean, season 1 let me down so much.
For what I've seen of it, it's let me down too.
So, damn. But that's good. I love to hear that because I do want to experience it. I need to get into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe after Shogun. I know we had plans of doing Rings of Power and talking about it weekly on the podcast, and
the show was not good enough. I'm sorry. It didn't. We're so busy right now that will we dedicate our time to, man? If something doesn't grab us, at least I'm just talking for me, I guess.
No, I'm with you there.
When something's not grabbing me right away in the first few episodes, I might come back to it later on, but I ditch on it. It's just,
so how do you feel about Penguin? I have not watched it yet.
I am so glad you asked. Penguin is fucking fantastic.
Do we get episode 3 this week?
Dude, 4.
4 already.
Episode 4. Shit. And so Shogun is my favorite thing that I've seen, just because I think just the realistic brutalness of it, it gets it over the. Second is Penguin. Penguin is absolutely phenomenal. And Colin Farrell is going to get nominated for best lead. In the Emmys, which definitely well should, because it is straight up. I know it sounds generic to say The Sopranos, but it is a crime drama. It's like the fact that it's based off of a comic book character, you never think about it ever. Okay. Like it is so set, and it's like Gotham's underbelly times 10. And I don't want to spoil too much or give away too much, but I'll just say, if you've seen The Batman, spoilers for a 3-year-old movie. Yeah. It's basically, all the crime mob bosses reacting to the death of their boss in the their death in The Batman. And
it is post Batman.
It is post. Okay. So it takes it starts a week after Batman. Yeah. And then the son of the mob boss in the first one, he takes over at the beginning of the show. Okay. And I'll just say the show kind of like what happens at the beginning is the show's just kind of an aftermath of that. But so many great characters that I don't even want to talk about, because when you meet them, you might not think they're all that big, and then they end up having like such a huge role.
I see myself getting through Shogun like really fast because I'm in love with it. Like, I just want to watch the next episode as soon as I'm finished one. So I'll try to get through a few, if not catch up on Penguin for next week, because I do want to talk about that weekly. It sucks that we can't talk about it on our episodes because it releases at night on Thursdays. Right. But I would like to.
I would still like to talk about even though it's like days later.
Yeah.
At least talk about maybe what we think is going to happen leading up to it or something like that.
That's true. Because we are we're filming right before or during the release of the new episode.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Every Sunday.
Yeah. It releases on Sundays?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was on Thursdays.
Mm-mm. So it started
premiered on Thursday.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, that threw me off. Yeah, because guys, if you're not aware, obviously we're doing this
Thursdays.
On Thursdays right after the new movie drops. So our schedules really just depend on when the movie comes out on Thursday. So today is different. It came out at 2 p.m. So we still have the evening to ourselves, and we're not recording this at 11 p.m.
like we normally are.
Yeah. So at least I know I have a bit more energy because I wish every movie on Thursday came out at 2 o'clock because that's like the best time to watch a movie for me.
Crossing my fingers for this being a new thing going forward.
Yes.
I hope so.
I really freaking hope so. But this segues into talking about how we review movies on the channel. If you guys are new here, typically we kind of break down the film and do a spoiler heavy, just all out discussion on the film's topics. So if you don't want to experience that, there is going to be a short, just general spoiler free review at the end of the episode that you can jump down to in the YouTube chapters at the bottom. But if you're here for the ride, or if you've seen the movie already, guys, we are going to be diving into Saturday Night.
Yes, indeed.
Which I am so happy that we got a freaking good movie to talk about on here, because it has been chaos in the streets.
It's been brutal.
I know we just totally haven't even talked about Joker 2 at all this week.
We haven't seen it yet.
We've still not seen it.
I'm scared.
I'm not really excited to see it anymore, but I'm going to.
Me too.
I'm gonna commit and get a review up, but who knows?
Who knows when that'll actually happen? I do want to see it in theaters because I think our best, at least my best shot at liking Joker 2 as much as I can is inside a theater. So I definitely want to catch it before, and we might end up. I doubt it because it's what I've heard, but we might end up loving it. Who knows? Because like Megalopolis, honestly, it's almost just like Megalopolis, where the small pockets of people that love it fucking adore it and are passionately defending it.
Our last episode was on Megalopolis. If you guys have not listened to it, that was
such a fun discussion.
The most fun I've had during a podcast here yet.
Which is crazy because we've talked about this. That was the most least prepared we could going into it because it just, if you've seen Megalopolis, it's just a giant clusterfuck of things happening. It ended up being the most thoughtful, easy conversation we've had.
Yeah, it was really fun to analyze it. I had more fun analyzing it than I did probably experiencing it.
Me too.
Which Jason Reitman's new movie Saturday Night is not going to be the same sort of experience because this movie is utter chaos, and
it's kind of hard to take you guys through this one.
It's going to be not easily digested in this time, unfortunately. What the movie does, guys, is it tick for tack walks you through the hour and 40 minutes leading up to the release of the very first Saturday Night Live episode, and the movie literally tracks that hour and 49 minutes in real time. So you are living through every minute that the actors are living through, and within this hour and 49 minutes, an unbelievable amount of shit goes wrong. I was having a low-key anxiety attack the entire movie.
In the best way possible, though, but I kind of was
yes.
too.
And at the same time, getting tons of just huge laughs out of us. We were in a relatively... it was basically just us and one guy in the back who was pretty silent.
He was silent, but every once in a while you could hear him
just big old gulping.
Just big old gulping the soda. I was like, good for you, man. Enjoy that soda.
This would probably be a fun movie to watch in a big crowd because there is a lot of big gags and bits that really, really, got a huge laugh out of just us.
Oh,
so
yes.
I can imagine it being a fun movie to experience with some actual room energy, because that's what theaters are all about, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Definitely is.
That theater experience. I know I always reference watching, I know it's not your favorite movie, but the second Star Wars movie, Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And when Yoda takes out his lightsaber.
And everybody losing their shit.
I was living in the Bronx at the time. Yeah, there was grown men just got up out of their chairs and were like, fuck yeah, let's fucking go, Yoda. And that I'll never forget that moment.
And that's right there is the beautiful part of going to the movies.
Yeah.
I love that shit. Like, it's a bunch of random people with all different ways of walks of life, and they come together to experience a movie.
Show business is amazing, and I think that's cool segue here. Ultimately, what Saturday Night is about. It's about the blood in the water. It's about the sweat and tears that lead up
the passion
into creating something, and in this case, a live performance, which at its time was relatively just it's just not how things were done.
No,
it's not how things were done. It was, we either play a Johnny Carson rerun or your show goes live if it's ready. That was like basically the tension in this film. They had to be ready. If not, NBC had things ready to go. We know we briefly talked about this before the podcast, but there are a lot of names we're going to be throwing around. Because again, this is based on real people, true story. So all the characters are real people. It's all based on
Chevy Chase. You got
Chevy Chase,
John Belushi.
I was gonna say those two off the bat. Those are the guys I knew the most about from Animal House, from National Lampoon. And then I could not help but just Garrett Morris, who I don't know who Garrett Morris is, but I know Lamorne Morris as Winston. From New Girl. So I was just like, I love that Winston is a fucking character, and it's part because Winston's such a weirdo in New Girl it was almost like I could pretend he's just Winston, like cosplaying, and it made perfect sense.
Kind of what I did, and I was like, dude, he's just Winston having a day.
Because even in New Girl, he goes like undercover and he plays like other characters, So I was like, Winston's undercover right now.
I was halfway expecting Ferguson to show up, his cat. Ferguson. And it's also very funny. I don't know if you've caught this. This is like the fourth podcast in a row where I think New Girl gets brought up.
Man, we just love New Girl.
We just love New Girl, bro. And it's like ties and everywhere. I love it.
So if you were, 20 or 30 years old in the 70s, then this movie probably hits home for you a lot more. Like I could imagine, some older viewers really, really loving this movie because they're actually familiar with all the names and all the drama, because it definitely seems like there was some stuff going over my head, at least with pre-established drama between these real life people in the movie. Like there was the whole thing with Chevy Chase and John Belushi that the movie relied on for some of its, politics and drama. And I was just like, I don't know one of this shit.
No, yeah, I was thinking in my head, I was like, I want to Google this, but like, did they actually fight before the first Saturday Night Live? Who knows? Like, I have no idea.
And that's the historical accuracy of this movie I have no clue on.
Me neither.
But as a general viewer, doesn't fucking matter. It's so much fun. I had a great time watching it. And I think that this movie does a phenomenal job at being just a piece of entertainment that anyone can go see. And you don't have to be someone who's familiar with all of these things to make it enjoyable. And the movie didn't have time to establish these things, again, because it's doing that minute for minute run through of this really stressful moment in life. And I love that about that. I wouldn't want it to be different. So, I think it's excellent the way it is. But just saying again, if you do know these guys, you're probably going to have so much fucking more fun watching this movie.
Oh, for sure.
Than your casual audience members, which I would, say we are.
Oh no, definitely. Even I didn't even get the recurring thing with the main character, Lauren Michaels and Rosie, his wife, that they live together, but they're married, but is not his wife. That kept going over my head.
Right. Yeah.
Like the whole time. But I'm sure, like, to add to your point, if you knew actually about this, like in real life, it'll probably hit you a lot better.
Yeah. Exactly. And man, this movie has a just unbelievably stacked cast. I feel like this is a fucking Wes Anderson movie. Like everybody's in this movie.
Every person who walked into frame, you're like, I know him from somewhere.
And even the relatively unwell-known actors who led some of these characters were so freaking good. They fit in incredibly. Like, I'm not really familiar with Corey Michael Smith, but his Chevy Chase impersonation and performance was probably my favorite. I thought he brought that ego to the stage. So. And then we looked up Matt Wood, who plays John Belushi. Never seen him in anything before.
Nope. He's only been in like a handful of things too.
So I feel like they really searched for some actors who could represent these real life people in a really accurate visual way, and they managed to compete with all this other heat and there's all these other big performers in this
not
movie.
only compete but like stand out. Some of them, and shout out to Corey Michael Smith from a show that ended up falling off the rails, but he played the Riddler in Edward Nygma in Gotham.
Oh, he did.
That's where I the entire time I was like, I know this dude from somewhere.
Okay.
And I looked it up. So shout out to Corey Michael Smith's performance in that.
And you had brought this up already, but we got Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd,
who is great as Dan, man.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was in it enough, honestly.
I know. Yeah.
Like, he was so fucking good, and he was, I think, out of all of the big Chevy Chase, all the big names, I feel like he was in it the least. Got the least. Well, maybe George Carlton too, but.
And then, I mean, popping up in there, we've got Nicholas Braun, who plays not only Andy Kaufman, but he also plays Jim Henson.
Yes.
And for those who watch Succession, that's Greg in Succession, and I was so happy to see him get land two big freaking roles in this movie, because he's like the second favorite character from Succession, or some maybe even first for some people. He's really well loved. Again, another one who didn't get enough screen time that I thought was bigger from the trailer, at least, was Copper Hoffman as Dick.
Yeah.
Again, Copper Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman, R.I.P. is his son, and he starred in his first role, which was Licorice Pizza with Paul Thomas Anderson, which you've not seen that. I adore that movie. I think it's fantastic, and I think this is a real star, like, in the making here.
I think so too.
I think he's going to be huge. At least I think he's going to have one of those like heavy Oscar, like Daniel Day-Lewis type of careers, but I don't think he's going to pick up every role. Like, I don't think we're ever going to see him do a superhero film, for instance. Like, it seems like I imagined he'd have got a lot of requests or auditions after Licorice Pizza.
I'm
and he's not done like anything. So I think he's waiting for the right time. And I like that. I like that for him, you know. And then popping up, we got freaking J.K. Simmons. We've got William Dafoe, and I mean the list goes on as far as the other people who pop up in this movie. There's a ton of cameos.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. But going into the actual plot of the film, it's gonna be hard. Like we said, it's not gonna be easy. Jordan, here my notes are as chaotic as the movie is itself. So I really just have a lot of scripts, and honestly, we're not gonna be able to walk through the scripts like we've been doing in previous episodes.
It's almost impossible with
it
this
is
movie.
Yeah, I mean, most of it is Lorne Michaels, the producer, running around putting out fires, like trying to, at least, the whole movie.
It was the unrated 90 long minute episode of 30 Rock.
Yeah.
if you've ever seen 30 Rock, no, for sure, you are meant to just. It is 90 minutes of one-liners, bonkersness, just crazy stuff that Lorne Michaels has to deal with. And you feel every bit as anxiety as he does in almost every single scene.
Yep.
That's pretty much how it goes. And shout out to Lorne Michaels, Gabriel LaBelle. I have not seen this movie yet, but he was Sammy in The Fabletons last year, Steven Spielberg's movie.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah. And
holy shit.
I think he might have got nominated for Best
I hadn't
Supporting.
placed that yet.
I think he might have got nominated.
I thought The Fablemans was fantastic.
I need to see that.
So good.
I need to see that.
Definitely touched my heart. Yeah. You need to watch that.
I do need to watch that.
That was a really good one. But yeah, he was good. He was really good as Lorne Michaels. And, you know, I think the movie, you know, being the guy the movie revolved around, he definitely carried the weight of the movie on his shoulders, just like he very much does what they're putting together in the movie, right? Trying to get the show ready to go.
And you feel, while we're talking about him, you feel whenever his like pop comes off, like when he goes to that board and he like I felt that fucking anger, like when he just dude, he played it, but you feel it. You feel him going to level 10, but he's still on the outside is like a 5. And I thought he played it like just so fucking well.
Yeah,
so.
It was really clean. In that scene particularly, he kind of, like you said, he explodes like emotionally, just like he can't control this anymore. Like it's out of his hands. And it's during a conversation with him and Dick, who was Cooper Hoffman. What the fuck? They're having this argument. It's the scene from the trailer. If you've seen, I think the main trailer for the movie.
Wish you wouldn't have been in the trailers. Now that after the movie.
Yeah, but I see how making a trailer for this movie was probably hard because it's just so chaotic. It's so fucking chaotic. So, and then he walks out of this conversation where basically it's just like he's just told that he's fucked and that it's not going to work out. And basically, the hope he thought he was grasping onto just kind of dissipated, and he walks out of the conversation and he gets sprayed with fake blood just immediately. And it was fucking great.
One of the, if not the best gag in the whole movie. Like that got me and you both pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
And it was followed by a great one-liner, and I can't remember what the one-liner was. Not said by Lauren, but it's said by the guy who squirts the blood.
Yeah, I think he's like, well, it works or something sly like that.
It was like a tie-in to a previous thing that they said at the beginning of the movie with those guys. With the blood bag, and I wish I would have wrote it down. Yeah, it was such a great quote
with those guys. Again, unnamed characters who are just in the madness.
Yeah,
in the madness of this fucking movie.
There's so many nameless side characters that get multiple minutes of screen time in this movie just because and there's so many one takes of Lauren of the camera just following him into the next crazy shit that he has to deal with.
Yeah, the filming of this movie I thought was really impressive. It was very much unlike anything Jason Reitman's done before. Like most of his movies have been pretty casual movies. I mean, he did Juno, right, and a few others that I could name. But this movie,
Thank You for Smoking.
Yeah, Thank You for Smoking. This movie was definitely a very unique style from him. Like it was very much POV tracking shots. A lot of it, like the camera was like whipping all over the place, but it never to a point where it was like shaky cam. Like I never felt annoyed by the filming. I always thought it did a wonderful job tracking, and there was some really great long takes that are thrown in there, but it's hard to even catch them mentally because there's so much. There's no room to breathe.
No.
Right. So, but there are some fantastic long shots in this film that I know we didn't even talk about that. I know we both really appreciate long takes.
Oh yeah.
But this movie it goes from really quick takes, capturing all the different angles, all the different egos in the room, to just like tracking Lorne Michaels through all the madness, and it'll be like a several minute tracking shot of him, and it was just like real. Like I would love to watch this movie again. I'll be honest, just to digest the filmmaking, because I think there was some really excellent stuff going on here, and we haven't said this yet, but we're getting into the Oscar season.
We are,
and this is definitely the first Oscar. I hate Oscar bait as a term, but this is definitely the first Oscar.
You can tell, like you can feel the season. You're getting into the season.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see this movie with a few noms.
I think so too.
Performance and directorial. I think Jason might get a nom.
I hope he does, at least for his camera work, because what he does, dude. I'm so glad you brought like the direction of it up. Not just the long takes, but I love the whipping back and forth. Like when two characters are because it's more when the camera is really whipping back and forth. It's mostly coming from two characters who are in a heated or like in an argument or a disagreement or whatever, and the camera's just constantly like going back and forth, and it just I felt like I couldn't breathe, but that was the point. Like you're supposed to feel like you can't breathe the whole movie, and it's so added to that. Also, I don't know if it's the filter. I don't know the technical term for it, but how they use to not I would say color the movie, but filter the movie.
Yeah,
like, it looks out of the 70s.
There's like a 70s Instagram filter on the whole movie.
Absolutely. Like it looks like it was filmed in the 70s.
Layman terms
and
possible.
It felt so natural.
Yeah.
And
there's some heavy film grain going on, and
heavy film grain,
but it looks fantastic.
So fantastic! I was so impressed with it.
Yeah,
like I really was, and I hope this gets nominated for a bunch of Best Picture and whatnot.
So I know we have not talked about the Oscars on this channel yet, and for those familiar with some of my older videos, you guys do know that I pay a little bit of attention to the Oscars. But I just want to preface it by saying I don't think the Oscars is like everything it's built up to be. Like I don't look at the Oscars and think
I definitely don't.
Holy shit, like these mean so much. Like to me, I know there's politics going on back there. I know it's like 25 if not more percent bullshit. But for me, really, it's like almost like a game. Like I just like to play the guessing game for what's going to get nominated. I like to it's
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I've had a lot of fun with it. And I do like it as a summary, right? Like if the Best Picture noms come out and I haven't seen a few of them, I'm like, I want to watch these. There's many movies I want to watch, but I usually will prioritize getting through those just to be a part of the conversation at that part of the year. But yeah, I just wanted to preface that because I know some people really hate the awards and the awards season, and I get it, and there's people who like care way too much about it.
Right. I feel like we're both kind of like in between.
Yeah. I just wanted to put that out there.
No, and I watch them. Like if I'm available, I will watch the Oscars every year, and I will root for the ones I see. But like, you know what the tipping point was for me? When Jake Gyllenhaal didn't get nominated for Nightcrawler back in 2014, I was like, you know what? I'm good. Like that was kind of the last. That was the moment where I just like I still put stock in the Oscars, like we're saying, but that was the moment where I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna waste my time.
That's when you have to do some research and realize that like movies have to campaign to even be considered.
Yeah,
and like all the shit, and like they probably just didn't even try.
No, because it was an intense thriller rather than some.
It was not, as we said, an Oscar movie, right?
1930 documentary film about a disease.
It wasn't 10 years a psychopath. You know, like, but Saturday Night is an Oscar movie, and and it should be. It is. It's because it's
one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah, for sure. And it's doing things historically accurate with very similar faces and throwing a lot of names together, and it's giving casual viewers something fun to watch, and diehard people who've been in the industry something to like, you know, like refreshing. You know,
right.
We're going through this moment finally, and we're able to do this, and I love that. I love that, man.
Same. I think it's a movie that anybody could watch, really and truly.
So I do want to try to briefly summarize the plot here for you guys, especially for those who are not planning on seeing it and just kind of want to know what happens. But again, it's very hard here. So I have my notes here. I'm going to try to walk through it.
Just a bunch of quotes.
I'm going to drop a bunch of quotes, which kind of help me reference what's going on. But one of it really drops you right into the shit. Like it's right into the war of the movie, right? There's no build up. It's just like the clock. The clock is running. It's I think it's like 10:30, right?
It starts.
Or it's 10 o'clock.
It's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock is an hour and a half till the movie starts, and I think one of the first lines in the movie is like, "What happens in 90 minutes?" And he's like, "We go live."
And then you have Finn Wolfhard's unnamed character handing out pamphlets to the show.
Because nobody wants to come. Nobody knows what the fuck Saturday Night is, so nobody is even coming in the door. Even having a general audience was something they're like, we might not have an audience.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the next, I'd say, basically the whole runtime of the movie is just, do we have actors? Do we have a script? Do we have lights? Do we have a stage?
What is this show?
Like, why? How the fuck did they get here without any of this shit ready to go? We don't get that story. But that's biggest question I had to start was, why the fuck is everything so bad right now? Like, why was this so fucking hard for you guys to do? Like, I get that there's a lot of egos and big dicks going through this room, but Jesus, you could have had the bricks laid on the fucking stage.
Literally.
Like, yeah, like literally, they're literally making the fucking stage before it goes live. And I guess that all kind of goes, I guess it kind of, and the point is that Lorne Michaels had such a vision that,
I was going to say that it kind of comes off to me that Lorne Michaels didn't share any of that stuff. At least that's how the film, kind of portrays it. Like he believed in the talent. He believes in the art, and he was going to figure it out like the day of, or like when the time comes. That's kind of how I took it. But I would like to see like an actual documentary of how chaotic it truly was, like how accurate it was.
Yeah. So it introduces the big names off the bat. We get Chevy Chase in there. We get an unnamed. I don't think they ever drop Andy Kaufman's name throughout the entire movie.
I don't think they say Andy.
They say Andy.
They call him, but never Andy Kaufman.
But Andy Kaufman, at least to us, is well known because Jim Carrey was in a whole movie, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And I've watched some Andy Kaufman clips, so I caught immediately that it was Kaufman at the beginning.
I should have, because I watched a documentary on it.
For me, it was the accent. I was like, that's fucking sense. Andy Kaufman. And then we get John Belushi walking up in the house. He definitely seems like I'm too good for this shit sort of guy, but not, I don't know, because there's a lot of guys who didn't give a fucking shit, and he seemed like one of them, but he also was there the whole time. Like, he never actually left, like he did show up in the end. It was a big question, like, is John Belushi gonna be in this fucking show? And he ended up coming back, but
the last piece of the puzzle, kind of.
I feel like there's some stuff behind the scenes that we might not know about John Belushi that would help you understand his motive throughout this movie, but it was at least just another element to the stressful puzzle that this film is. And then like you brought up earlier, Lauren's wife, soon to be, it seems, ex-wife. They don't live together. They're not married. Her quote is, "We're married, but I'm not your wife." They're on they're on good terms, right? They're working together. They work together on the show. They're both writers. And, but the question there was, what will her name be on the title, or on the
right, and
the credits.
What
will her credits be? Yeah, what will her last name be?
And it ended up being her name.
Yeah,
her name. But they do live together.
That was one of the few, I guess, gripes I had with this movie, is like, why, with the limited amount of time we had, why did we focus on this? Yeah, like, why was this a focus of the film? And I still really can't answer that question. Like, I'm sure, it plays into building up Lorne Michaels, I guess, emotional climax in the end of the film. But for me, it felt a little bit extra baggage.
It seemed, I don't know, because so you just flat out didn't like it, because I didn't care. It's weird. Like, it's like I didn't like it or dislike it. It's like you can tell that was the weakest, on a very tight script. That was the weakest link, and it came off to me like, well, maybe because everything in this movie is so batshit crazy, he wanted to, like, Jason Reitman wanted to, like, add some kind of, like, human element to Lorne Michaels, so he gave him that. I really don't know, but that was the rationale that I came up with.
Yeah.
Came up in my head.
It's a small thing. Again, I'm not, like, hating on the movie because of that, but it was something I was like you said, you didn't really care about it. So, and I felt the same way. So, it's like, we probably could have used this runtime for, I don't know, more laughs or
more laughs. I would have taken more William Dafoe.
William Dafoe, more Dan Aykroyd, Daniel O'Brien, any of that would have, would have been something that I would have liked better. There's a lot of freaking great just one-liners in this film, especially from Chevy Chase's character. We have not named the writer, the script writer who dropped. His name was Michael, but I don't know the actor's name. Hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious. And I'm trying to look for his name now, and I can't find him.
Find that guy, because he had so many freaking good lines. Like, one time he quotes Hitler, and Lorne Michaels like, "Was that Hitler?" And he's like, besides the atrocities, the man was a wordsmith.
Yeah, the man was. He said the man was a true wordsmith.
Yeah, that's it, and many other lines. I've heard God's love is blind.
Tommy Dewey.
But now I know why. Like, this dude was dropping. So, what was the character's name?
So the character's name was Michael O'Donoghue.
Michael? Yes, yeah, I don't know.
Played by completely over my head. Played by Tommy Dewey, who was in Your Monster, which I hear good things, comes out earlier this year, and he's the voice of Stu Pickles.
Okay.
In Rugrats.
Nice.
And
random as fuck.
Random as fuck indeed, but that's like what he's known for. But hey, Tommy, great job playing this character.
Yeah.
This guy, because it was fantastic.
So yeah, I mean, the lights during a test fall down. The sound guy quits. The script is being destroyed by the NBC. What do they call her? The script standard. She was like the script editor and had to make sure that the script wasn't using too many explicitives or whatever. And they totally ignored everything that this fucking woman said. She was just got pushed to the side, the
whole time.
And I actually kind of like that, though, because it was like, this is 70s censorship. And Saturday Night Live was the start of what now is just how we know entertainment, right? Just free speech, no censorship, say whatever the fuck you want. I feel like Saturday Night, it's such a big cultural thing. I know, like, I'm not a huge Saturday Night Live guy. Like, I haven't watched like old seasons.
I've seen skits.
I do like watching skits. I do like catching episodes with like actors I really love.
Right.
But it definitely, there's no doubt that Saturday Night Live had such a cultural impact on TV and entertainment.
Oh, still to this day.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that they've been together, like, it's been on for this long and still going,
like, what,
as strong as it
50
is.
seasons or something? Like,
something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be at this point the longest reigning show.
So, yeah, I mean, and it makes, and like, the movie's justified in that aspect, that what Lorne Michael was able to pull off was obviously a success, and that's why the movie's able to just end with it starting with Chevy Chase's "Welcome to Saturday Night Live," because we already know the end of the story. We know that it was a success, right? But it's a lot of fun getting there. So yeah, I mean, basically Lauren Smith is just dealing with all these things I've said. Like, that is most of the runtime. And I love that towards the end, William Dafoe's character, he plays, gosh, I don't know who he is in the movie, but he's a guy, I think I wrote his name somewhere in here, but he is kind of stepping up to Lauren Michael. Like, do you really have a show? He says, your writers are stoned. Your actors are fighting each other. The sound equipment doesn't work. Someone started a fire. And he's like, worst case scenario, the country will always listen to Johnny Carson. And I fucking loved that line and that whole scene because, like, it's just flashbacks to everything that's going through the movie. And that was the one time watching the film where I was like, that's the plot of the film. Like, like that. Okay, that is the plot of this film. Like, those events and the crazy shit.
Dave Tebbutt, by the way.
And then Dave Tebbutt. Okay. Yeah. Again, someone, I have no clue who that is historically.
Me neither. I just wanted to say it. Yeah, me neither.
And then Lauren is like, well, no, worst case scenario, we can just play the screen test. And Defoe's like, there's worse cases or something like that.
No, that's what he says.
Yeah. And I was just like, ooh, like that was a really good moment. And then, so I think right after that scene was a moment with Chevy Chase and J.K. Simmons' character, Milton Berle, where Milton seems like he was a ladies' man and he was like kind of sweet talking Chevy Chase's wife. And he literally pulls out his Johnson, which was a huge, big ego move. And,
absolutely.
I thought that scene was fantastic.
It was kind of put Chevy Chase in his place, but it's knowing where Chevy Chase like goes and ends up.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever he tells him like you're gonna end up like falling, like jumping off of a hotel or whatever, and everything is as sad as it is to say, like knowing where Chevy Chase is currently, I was like, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Like if I woke up to that story, unfortunately.
I don't know. Is Chevy Chase like off the deep end in his later years? Like, I honestly have no
he's
clue.
just, nobody likes him.
No one likes him.
No one likes to work with him anymore. After what he did on Community, like him and Dave Harmon got in an actual like fight, or like
really?
or at least screaming match. Yeah, like
it's so sad because I thought he was freaking hilarious.
He's like
Community.
He's like the best part of Community, honestly. Besides Troy and Abed, Pierce is the funniest fucking character.
Oh man,
in that show.
Damn,
he definitely is.
But yeah, I mean, that was just a great little moment. And J.K. Simmons as a bad guy is just so
too
fucking good. It's so scary. It's like I would not want to be in the room with that fucking dude.
Oh,
like if he's talking to my wife, I wouldn't be really uncomfortable.
I would. I'll be like, you know what? You probably deserve to fuck her. Like he would convince me at the end of it. You know, like, you know what? Have her for the night.
For real, like it's terrifying. He is terrifying.
It's like he enjoys playing the bad guy way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. I would still have a beer with J.K. Simmons though.
But by the end, magically, everything came together. You know, it just all kind of lines up perfectly at the end. But we do get that great scene that you brought up earlier between Lauren and Dick, where Lauren. So basically, Dick, who's again played by Copper Hoffman, he is like the middleman between the NBC execs and Lauren Michael, and like he hired Lauren to do the show, right? But Dick basically breaks down the fact that they want him to fail. They want someone to try something new so that it could fail and they could justify the reason for playing Johnny Carson reruns. Like that apparently, according to this movie, is the reason Saturday Night Live exists.
It's viable.
They wanted it to fail so they could justify reruns. And he basically tells Lauren that, and Lauren is just like, well, fuck, I'm done.
Yeah.
And he goes to get drunk, and then he ends up being inspired by, I guess, someone who became a big writer on the show, played by who we know as Big Head from
Silicon
Valley. Shout out Silicon Valley.
Absolutely. Fantastic show.
And yeah, I'm not familiar with who he's playing in real life, but it definitely seems like it inspired him, and they started a relationship, and he goes back in, and boom, everything kind of falls together.
Falls into place. And in my head canon, like, I'm going to look the real story up, but I hope that it was like that. I hope he just like went to get a drink before the show and met this guy in a bar, like right before the show. I hope that's how that went down.
And he literally goes and hires another sound guy from another show.
Sure does.
15 minutes before the show goes live.
One of the best lines in the movie too, in that exchange, he was like, "How's the pay?" And he's like, "That's the worst part."
Yeah. And he still's like, all right. When do I start?
Yeah, when do I start?
Like he hated his job that much.
Oh no, man.
And he wanted to be a part of something. And that's, I can see that being reality because, I mean, this dude was working on this dumbass, just no brain cells TV show with starring J.K. Simmons' character, and then he sees a young guy who comes up and he seems to be passionate about something. Like I'd probably in that place I probably would have said yes to.
I probably would too,
you know?
man. And that's what I love. The vibe of this movie is that just art, man. It's just it takes so much fucking shit to get it to make a movie, to make anything of art, and that's I think this movie captured it really, really. And why it's worth it.
Even just to get us here making a podcast, we went through years of not doing this, and eventually finally got here, and we've been having a ton of fucking fun, ton
of fucking fun
and
doing it.
Obviously we're not making anything as important as Saturday night, but it's still fulfilling for us, right?
Absolutely.
So to imagine what Lorne Michaels must have felt when his show succeeded that night was probably something I could never really fathom.
But I'm so happy he did. I don't even know them. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if the people he was well liked or anything. But I'm so happy that he got to do this.
Yeah.
And his vision came forth, because it just. I respect people with passion like that, man. Like you said, like we're doing this right here. Like,
yeah, I'm inspired to go watch the first episode of Saturday Night.
I kind of want to, and I want to. The picture that they all take towards the end, Chevy Chase, Lamorne. I bet you that is a real picture, obviously with the real actors that they were playing. I bet you that's like a iconic photo.
Yeah,
like of the first episode.
I'd imagine so.
I want to look that up too.
Yeah, I feel like all those big details were relevant. I don't think they would have thrown anything in there just for writing purposes. It all seemed super relevant to the time.
Absolutely, but I will stand by what I said during the movie. I would, just as a 30 Rock fan, they should have worked Tina Fey somewhere in this movie.
Yeah,
and not only because it's 30 Rock, but she's also was on Saturday Night Live. So I was expecting a Tina Fey cameo. I really was.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the NBC studio must be iconic because it looked just like it did in 30 Rock. Even the hallways,
it looked so
the elevators,
similar, dude.
Yeah,
even the wide shot of the building, I was like, we're going to Jack Donaghy's office.
Yeah, exactly. I was waiting for Jack Donaghy to show up in the exec's room.
Oh, dude, I wish.
With as Chevy Chase put it, you look like the cast of The Godfather if it was filmed in Alabama. It's all white dudes.
Fantastic fucking line, man.
I think it is relevant to talk about this character because honestly, Lamorne Morris. Again, that's Winston from New Girl. He played Garrett Morris. It's a little confusing with the same last name, but his character actually had the most, pretty much the only character arc, like him trying to figure out his identity on the script and why he was there. Like they kind of gave him a big role, and I think it pays off when he sings his song at the end there,
which was one of the best moments in the show.
I wrote down exactly the words of the song because.
We don't want to get it wrong because it's not a PC song at all.
It's like, I want to get my shotgun
and
shoot all the whiteys.
All the whiteys, yeah, dude.
The way he sings it.
He sings it like a country, like giddy up song. And it's just the band starts playing and everybody in the around the cast was started to cheer for it. And it was a really great moment.
And it keeps cutting to a shot of two, I guess, just sound guys or something. There's a white and a black dude. And the black dude starts clapping, and the white dude looks at him, and he starts clapping too. And it was like, hell yeah, this is hilarious.
I know.
I mean, fucking Garrett Morris's character, he had a big arc, and
he did, and good for him, man. I fucking love Lemoyne.
So and I wonder if that was like an early PC thing. Where was he just on there because they wanted to have a token black guy on the show? Was that what the movie was pointing at?
I kind of thought that that's where they were going for most of them. Every time he said, why am I here? Why am I brought up? That's where my head was.
The only answer he gets is that he's cheap, and that made him, do a double take. What?
Oh,
is that really it?
But it made me, like I told you off camera, it made me want to go Google clips of that guy because, I feel like Lamorne probably fucking crushed it. I mean, I already think he crushed it, but, I want to see more of that guy so I can appreciate his performance even more.
Mm.
Yeah, because I really thought him and Chevy Chase, the guy who plays Chevy Chase, they're my favorite. I think Dylan O'Brien's Dan Aykroyd would have been up there, but he just wasn't in it nearly as much as Chevy and what was the guy's name? I know it's Winston from New Girl, but
Garrett?
The character name. Garrett, yeah.
Yeah. And I also really liked, he played a really small role. He was Lorne's cousin, Neil Levy, and the actor's Andrew Barth Feldman. who I know I recently watched in No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence.
I gotta watch
and he had a great, I mean, he was a really minor character, but he had a really funny, one of the bigger scenes where he gets stoned and has like a little panic anxiety attack walking
which was
around.
So relatable.
And that ties in because Garrett Morris asks him, he's like, what is my point of being here? Like, what is my identity on the show? And Andrew or Neil just like thought about it so deeply. He was like, don't ask me that right now. Like, fuck. like I can feel my blood. Like, if you've ever been really stoned, you understand what he was going
that,
through.
But like even the blood line, my favorite line in that thing exchange whenever the guy who gives him the hit off the joint and he goes off, he tells him, enjoy your quest.
Yeah. And then
that was such a relatable thing, man.
And then when Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd and they all like find him and he's in like locked in his office and they're like, where'd you get the weed from? And he's like, the writing guys. And he's like, oh yeah,
that's a pretty strong shit.
He had a really good quote there. I don't know what he said, but it was actually really fucking funny. But he like named the type of weed, but it was like obviously super obnoxious and not real. It was off the top, but oh man, it was just a lot of great moments in this movie.
As we're talking about it, this was like, I can't wait to rewatch it just to catch all the one-liners that we missed because we were laughing.
It's a super funny movie.
Super, super funny movie, and it at a breakneck pace.
So Jordan, overall, we've digested the film, we've ate it up. How do you feel? What are you gonna review this film? What do you got to say about it?
So man, this was just a great time. This was a great time. I love the way he filmed it. Jason Reitman, I love what he does with the camera work, the long shots, the 70s film grain that we talked about. It's 90 minutes of great one-liners with a heavy dose of anxiety, but the best kind of anxiety that you want for a movie like this.
Yeah.
You truly feel...
It's thrilling.
But it's supposed to be. Like, you truly feel like you're right by Lorne Michaels this entire time.
Yeah.
And you're going through this journey with him. My only really, not even great, like, is the thing that we talked about in the spoiler section was the... I won't give it away, but just to touch something with the two leads with Lorne and Rosie. They try to like add some human elements amongst all the craziness stuff of it, and I thought that didn't really work as well, like going through their marriage.
Right, because there's not a ton of time for character development. Because in this
there's
film,
not.
They do it's minute for minute. It's real time. You're living through the hour and 30 minutes before Saturday Night Live is ran for the first time. So again, it's like that was the only thing that it felt like they tried to squeeze in for character development purposes when really they didn't need to.
No,
because it was perfectly working the way it was being told without that.
Absolutely. And I could have watched instead of 90 minutes, I could have watched an hour and 28 or 26, or if that storyline was cut. But other than that, I have no complaints. Like, this is a solid, probably like 4. I think it's a great movie. It's one of my favorites of the year, and it's one that I can see myself rewatching a lot. Yeah. Like over and over and over again. So big thumbs up from me. I think it's for everyone. You should absolutely fucking see it as soon as possible. It's hilarious.
I don't like to solidify a score until I write my review because I find that the number changes in small decibel points.
Mine does
previous,
too sometimes.
And right before I get to actually writing and posting it on the website. But no, I thought this film was extremely fun. I mean, I laughed way more than I expected to. And it was very thrilling. I mean, it's described as being a thriller, and I think that works for it because it is anxiety-inducing, as you said, in the best way. Like, it's really fun, and there's a ton of humor, there's a ton of ego, a ton of characters packed into this crazy short film that is just utter chaos. And really, as someone, as both of us we love movies, we love TV, we love the entertainment business, even as just spectators and just as people who watch it. But this definitely, it's like a behind the scenes of this big moment that started what is, again, one of the most culturally significant things on TV, Saturday Night Live. And all of that put together, Jason Reitman did a fantastic job transporting us back to the 1970s and bringing these iconic people to life. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I want to say I loved it. but I need to watch it again. And
That's
that's how I know I already am really, really enjoying it, because I already want to see it again.
Oh, yeah.
I could have ran it back, honestly. Like, I would have had no problems with just restarting it.
Oh,
and
yeah. Like,
watching it
I
again.
already asked if you want to, like, I already plan on asking Drew and Chris if they want to go see this, because I think they would both like this movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm excited to see it get some Oscar buzz. I'm excited to see some, if anyone gets a nom out of this movie. I'm definitely curious, because it could be a lot of guys. But as you pointed out, I think that we might see our boy
Winston
Lamar
Morris. Yeah. I think he's because he has the media, and after thinking about it more,
the more meaty role.
he does. I think he has the best chance of getting that.
And we could, depending on what else comes this year, maybe Lorne Michaels for best actor.
Maybe he was great in it.
Yeah.
We have no idea. What's
he
to
really
come.
he really carried the weight of the story on his shoulders, and we might even see a super short screen time nom, like for J.K. or William Dafoe. It happens.
It happens. Out of those two, who do you think is more likely? I say Dafoe.
I probably Dafoe, but I honestly thought that
J.K. was better.
Yeah, because
he was
again,
more
like we walked through his biggest scene in the film, and it was definitely like
one of the most. Oh yeah,
shocking.
One of the most memorable parts in the movie.
Yeah,
and he didn't throw a chair at somebody's head. So,
right. Whiplash. But yeah, I mean, shit. I'm gonna roughly give it a 4 stars right now, but again, subject to change. But that's probably gonna be around where I'm at. For
that sounds about right.
Film.
Yeah. So, but you would say one of your favorites of the year?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what all has come out? Do you want to do a quick breakdown of what we've done so far this year? Just podcast wise, or all that you've seen? I mean, are you good enough to walk through everything you've seen on the drop of a whim like that?
Well, you know what? My Letterboxd will help me, because I have my movies.
Shout out Letterboxd, guys, in the description if you want to check out Jordan's Letterboxd. Just based off of the videos we've done so far: Alien, Romulus, The Crow, Afraid, Beetlejuice, Transformers, Megalopolis. I would definitely say this is my favorite of the year, with Alien Romulus being second. Okay,
so out of the movies we've done,
and then Transformers in third for me.
I would say out of the movies we've done, see, Transformers won, and it's gonna be hard. Like this is.
I know that was a lot more close to your heart.
It was. It hit home for me. My childhood. It really very close to my heart. But I fucking love this movie, and like Saturday Night, and so I would say out of the ones we've done since starting this podcast, I would say it's a close tie right now between Transformers 1 and this Saturday Night, followed by Alien Romulus.
I know
we're right there.
I know for sure we both have the same number 1 for this year.
ESPN agrees.
Dune 2. Obviously.
Dune 2. Come on, like we don't even have to spend time. Like
fucking stupid.
We're gonna have an entire.
Nothing's even close to that, in my opinion.
No, it's not even. It's in a whole different stratosphere by itself. It has its own orbit.
Yeah. What's your number 2? Because I see your list right there. And what's number 2?
So number 2, as of right now, is Inside Out 2.
Which I have not seen yet.
A 29-year, I cried both times I've seen it. I think it's utterly fucking fantastic. And then so Inside Out 2 would be number 2, and then Transformers 1 and Saturday Night are battling right now for 3 and 4.
Okay.
I can see those two flip-flopping. And then so Deadpool and Wolverine now slides into my 5th spot, so that would be number 5 for me. And Challengers just right out of the top 5 at number 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you like to take a wild guess with my my least? What's last? I want to know if you're gonna get it, because this is my official. I thought about it.
The Crow.
Borderlands is worse.
Oh.
The Crow is smack dab in between Madam Web and Borderlands, but Borderlands is the worst piece of shit I've seen this year. It's yeah. I don't want to go in a Borderlands rant, but it was really. My bottom 3 is so bad, dog. Madam Web, The Crow, and Borderlands. Oof.
Next week, what are we reviewing next week?
So we have 2 choices.
Okay.
Between,
love
that. Which I think I know our choice. We have Smile 2, which I'm not.
All right. Then what's the next one?
Already all right. What's the next one? Yeah. We've seen a lot of bad horror this year.
Two choices, Jordan? Really? Come on.
No, yeah. So the other choice is, I'm trying to look at the title, but it is a Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh comedy drama movie.
Already sounds better.
That I heard is great.
Already
It's gotten really good reviews. I've been
Florence
seeing
Pugh
is
Chef's Kiss.
Absolutely chef's kiss. She can do no wrong.
Yeah, she's great.
She is fantastic, and I'm a big Andrew Garfield guy.
Me too.
I love me some Andrew Garfield.
Me too.
So
he's not like my favorite all time, but I will give him. He is really solid.
We Live in Time is the title.
We Live in Time. Okay. So I'm gonna be honest. Something I'm super excited about. The last few weeks we've had some pretty big releases, from Beetlejuice to Megalopolis to Joker to this. So I feel like next week's kind of a bit of a on a little dip there.
Little dip.
But that just means that we probably have something even more exciting to look forward to the week after that.
And the week after that is, so this is going to be funny. Do you hear see reaction like while we're recording? So there's 2 movies that come out, and I definitely know which one you're going to, and I want to see, I agree with you, but I also want it, so Conclave comes out the week after.
Yeah.
And Venom 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Easily Conclave for me. Yeah.
So me too, honestly, because like I don't love the Venom movies, but like I love the Venom character very much. So like I'm gonna see Venom 3 like probably the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, the very next day. Like I almost, but you know, Conclave looks fucking
we definitely
fantastic.
have at least Conclave. Sorry, cut you off there, but yeah, Conclave looks good. It looks really good. And then we'll have Shogun and Penguin to talk about the spoiler discussion of Shogun next week, most likely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool deal. Well, Jordan, episode 6, success. Had a lot of fun.
Me too, and we will not be missing next week. So
we will be back.
We'll be back, and thanks guys for watching. This was always fun. It gets better every week.
Yeah, it definitely does, Jordan. Thanks for being here and for sacrificing some football time to be here and discuss and watch.
It's okay, because tonight's going to be the first night that I can actually have the option of going watch.
Well, on that, what are you doing, Jordan? Are you watching Shogun with me?
This is a dirty trick he's playing.
This is the thing, guys. He told me I had to wait for him to watch episode 4 of Shogun, and I planned it. I watched first thing today. I did, very unusual for me. I watched Shogun with coffee, which I never ever do that.
That's an interesting show to watch coffee with.
And dude, it's amazing. Like the adrenaline rush from coffee while watching. Like it's an immediate dopamine rush when you drink coffee, and then when you're already doing something that's normally great, it's just like, oh, it's fantastic. I love like watching One Piece and drinking coffee. I don't ever do that, but when I do, it's fantastic. But anyway, yeah, I planned it, but he might sacrifice it for sports balls, guys. There's a chance that he chooses sports balls over Shogun.
I might choose sports balls. I'm so sorry. Like it's I don't, doing, and I don't want to make it seem like it's a big deal, but like not watching Thursday night football is a very different thing for me for the first time, and I can't even tell you when, like decades. So it has been like mentally an adjustment for me, but it's gotten easier and easier and easier. But,
well, I'm not trying to pull a dirty trick on you. I appreciate
that was
you being
it was
here
a joke
already.
It was a joke.
So if that's what you choose, Jay, I totally.
But also, I will say you should not wait any longer. Like if you wanted to watch episode 4 tonight,
Shogun's being watched tonight.
You need to watch episode 4
I'm
tonight.
really loving the show. It's all I want to do right now.
And prepare yourself, because like that week long wait from 4 to 5 fucking sucked. The way 4 ends.
So get ready for 2 episodes.
Get ready for 2 episodes.
Okay.
Get ready for 2 episodes for sure.
Man, the one thing I wish I had was Shogun on 4K, so I could watch it in true 4K, man. Because sometimes Hulu buffers, and I'm just like,
You
stop.
bitch, work.
It's so gorgeous, like fuck. Yeah, but
I know.
Anyway, that was fun.
That was fun.
Catch you next time. Next week here. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Peace.
Peace.